Hey, welcome again to another session of Beyond the Title, where we speak with exceptional professionals with extraordinary experiences. Now, joining us today is Henry Christian. Henry is a CX champion, a customer experience champion, and the former GM for NTUC. Welcome, Henry. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Happy to be here, Steve.
Great to have you. Great to have you. Now, Henry, first off, what is a CX champion and what is it that you do right now?
Well, that's. I wish I have a short answer to that. I think experience. People ask me all the time, right? I have a business, and what is the best form? What's the best substance for me to reward my customers to have a relationship with me? Is it points? Is it cashback? Is it air miles? My answer is experience, right? It doesn't matter whether if you give people air miles, but they have nowhere to use it for, it's useless. If you give them points and they don't understand where they can use their points, it's useless, right? So that's why I say that the best rewards that you can give your customers is great experience, and that's the area that I'm in, and that's the area that I'm an advocate for.
Wow. Now you've held loyalty positions. You've created loyalty programs. For Mitra in Indonesia, for NTUC in Singapore. Um, but what drives that you need to create loyalty programs? Why is that an essential part of the customer experience you want to build, or
I
is it? Yeah.
Well, I think when people talk about loyalty, they immediately think of what, a plastic card, a mobile app, or a program, right? And none of
True.
that is true, right? I always tell people that you don't need a program, right? But you need you want a loyalty from your customers, because if you have a business, you have customers that you serve. You want to keep and you want the loyalty of your customers. That's the true meaning of loyalty. You don't need a program to earn loyalty of your customers. Let me give you the classic example. Apple, right? Do they have a loyalty program? No, but many people still swear by it, right? Despite them saying that now Apple's phones don't come with the chargers, right? But still buy it, and people are saying that the prices are skyrocketing, but they're still
True.
lovers of it, right? That to me, and why is there such loyalty to Apple brand? Because of the experience, because the experience that you get when you go to the stores, the experience that you get when you ask for help. Uh, from the customer service, the experience that you get when you use the phone, right? So everything is about experience. So you don't
Awesome.
need the program. I mean, to answer your questions, you don't need the program to win the loyalty of your customers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That is very eye-opening. So let's get to know you a bit better. Let's deep dive into that. Um, what gets you to jump out of bed every morning? What is your ikigai?
Well, I think I'm still work in progress when it comes to my ikigai. As a matter of fact, the last 6 months, I was, doing my Eat, Pray, Love in Bali. I left my corporate job in December, and I really wanted to find out, what is it I want to do next, and I decided to give myself actually the whole of this year to just do my own side projects, and to understand myself better, right? But I'm really an advocate for customer experience, and to a certain extent that includes employee experience, right? So
True.
what gets me up, uh, what get me jumping out of bed every morning, besides the alarm, of course, it's me wanting to share with the world the importance of customer experience, right? So I write daily. I share with them. I share my thoughts with my LinkedIn network. I try to do it every day, but still work in progress. But that's really what gets me going. I share. I post my thoughts a lot on LinkedIn, and in return, I get feedback, questions from organizations, right, and individuals who are in the same field as I am, and I'm very happy to help, right, and many of these conversations eventually lead to actual projects, right?
True.
And that's kind of interesting, right? But that really what really drives me going for everyone to create a better relationship, for businesses to create better relationship with their customers, for employers to create better relationship with their employees.
True, true. No, thank you. Um, you mentioned Eat, Pray, Love, and you mentioned working out of Bali. By the way, are you native to Indonesia? Because I know you've worked there for a while as well.
I'm Indonesian born, but I'm a Singapore citizen. So I grew up
Right.
in Singapore. But my Bahasa, it's good enough not to be charged tourist price in Bali.
Good. So this is my second question, and right about now, I ask people, if they were a character in a movie, which movie would it be? What character would they play? Um, would you like? Would you? Oh, by the way, I do love Elizabeth Gilbert's book Eat, Pray, Love. It's been a huge literary achievement for the time, but also for now. Would you like to play a role in such a movie?
Well, I think I'm not sure if I would like to be the character in Eat Pray Love. I don't even know which stage am I in Eat the Pray or the Love, right? I think it's just one of those things that sounds cool when people ask you, because you don't want to tell people that, oh, I'm just bumming around the beach, right? So I've been trying to think that, how do I tell people Eat Pray Love? Sounds great, right? But yeah, probably not that. But I'm gonna cheat a little bit on that, right? Probably not a movie, but if you know the TV show Criminal Minds, which is an
Oh
American,
wow, that's a very
yeah,
dark TV show. I do know
well,
of it. Yes.
yeah, and it's interesting, right? And the story is about, it's an American TV series about a group of FBI profilers
Correct.
who use behavior analysis and profiling to investigate crimes and to find the perpetrators, right? So it's not your typical gun blazing, door kicking kind of cop shows, but
Correct.
really trying to understand the psyche, the trying to build profiles of the perpetrators, right, for them to solve the crimes, right? Why I choose that? Imagine if you apply that in society, right? If we spend more time to know others and not be quick to judge them, right? Imagine if businesses do that, if they spend more time to know their customers instead of making often wrong assumptions about what customers like, right? Imagine if tech entrepreneurs do that, spend more time to understand the real problem that they're trying to solve instead of pushing another Me Too products, all in the name of innovations, right? So I think that's the kind of characters that I like to play to understand people better.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. I know Criminal Minds. It's a very dark show, but I love the correlation you made of trying to understand, put yourself in the other person's shoe, try to figure out why someone who's just bumped you on the street, has been having a bad day, and rather than being quick to jump on the gun and say, "Hey, what the hell," you could take the time to say, "Hey, are you all right?" And the same thing is relevant for businesses too. I know oftentimes people when they come to customer service, they've been having the worst time, but that simple question of how may I help you from service does make a huge difference. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, things have been an interesting motion these past 18 months, the past 6 months, with the vaccine drive in many of the countries, with the opening of certain restrictions or loosening of certain restrictions. It has been getting better. But what has been that one app that you just cannot stay without?
Yeah, it's when I was in Bali, things were even crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Singaporean, so I'm used to the orderly manners that things are done. I'm used to be, where information are easily accessible by everyone, right? But it's nothing like that in Bali, isn't it? There's such a symmetry of informations, and you do not know where to get the latest happenings of the COVID situation. So that was crazy. Yeah, it is really crazy. But so what is the one app? Or to make things worse, doom scrolling is real, right? And
Wow.
I actually deleted a lot of my social media apps when I was in Bali because it just didn't help with the whole situations, right? Um, well, if there is one app that I can't do away without, it's an app that I use to listen to audio Christian sermons from a church that I associate with. So I try to start my day with by listening to a sermon or just before I go to bed. Right, I think it helps me to listen to the words of God to keep me sane, to keep me on the right path, and to kind of like tune out from all the gloomy news out there.
I agree. I agree. I love that you start your day with positive messaging, with reinforcement, with of course, and I'm a huge believer of people with different faiths that it does help, it does support you, especially at times like these when you are mentally stressed, when you are already bogged down with all the numbers and all the unfortunate news that is coming around the world. Thank you. Um, what was your first job like?
Wow.
Is there is there a lesson you take from that and that you still, practice till today?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? When I tell people what's my first job, their first reaction is like, "Really, you?" Right? So I graduated. My academic background is in accounting and finance. My first job was an auditor with one of the big four accounting firms.
Oh, wow.
uh, yeah, people ask me all the time, like, how do you end up doing what you do? And my response has always been, well, it's God's plan, right? I don't know how I end up doing what I'm doing right now. No, but seriously, I was with my first job is was an auditor with KPMG, right? Being in KPMG is a good learning ground for me to do what I do now. You ask what lessons that I get from my first job that I still use it now. I think that there are two of them. Um, the first one is that obviously auditors are very skilled in reading and understanding profit and loss statement, right?
True.
And I can't stress further that it is a very very useful skill to have in the workplace, no matter what role you do, right? Um, yeah, Reed Hastings in his book Netflix No Rule Culture, right?
Yeah.
He shared an anecdote where he and his group of executive team actually taught their leadership team to read P&L statement because that's how important it is. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're a creative director, whether you're a marketer, you need to know how to read your P&L statement. And till today, that is a useful skill that I still carry with me in my job. The second skill that I learned from KPMG is in terms of stakeholders management. Now, as an auditor, you have to interview everyone in your client's organizations, right? From the guy who's working in the warehouse to the CEO, right? And you need to have different skill sets to speak to these people and to ask questions and to want them to cooperate with you, right? And that's such a useful skill because in the field that I do, it sits in the cross sections of many other functions: marketing,
True.
tech, finance, operations, right? So being able to relate to different types of folks, different strokes for different folks, if you wish, is a great skill to have.
Awesome. And I know a lot of studies go with, how important it is to read data, how important it is to be able to understand data that's being presented to you. And what you spoke of, the reading P&L statements, I think is a critical step for any leader, to be able to say that, yeah, we're on the right path. A good example of that will be any entrepreneur that wants to have a company. If they or he or she does not understand how to read P&L statements or be able to create P&L statements at that point in time when they do start the company, they're not going to be able to get to that point where they see that success, and they see that they are making that difference for the company too. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I love that you started that thought process in my mind, and I'm sure everyone watching this is going to be thinking, yeah, you know what? If our companies are doing it right now, we should suggest it to the learning and development team. Awesome. What has been one of the biggest leadership challenges that you have faced in the past? As you were leaving NTUC, as you mentioned, in December, uh, especially as you went through 2020, what was one of the biggest leadership challenges you faced?
yeah. So I took the leadership of NTUC, I think in 2019, right? So I took helm the overall leadership of the organizations. So that's 1 year before the pandemic hit, right? I think the biggest challenge when the pandemic hit really is to keep a pulse on the morale of the team. So as much as I do what I do what other people did as well. I arrange skip session discussions. I do regular check-in with them, but but it's even though it's important to be there for the folks, it's important to do a regular check-ins on their mental health, on their happiness, right? But to keep a pulse on the morale of the team, it's difficult to do that remotely, right? I think nothing beats just having a casual chat, just popping up at the desk and asking them like how they're doing. I'm all about the people, right? That's my leadership style, and not being able to actually interact with them physically, it's challenging.
Yeah, that I do get that. I do get that. Um, okay, okay. Uh, Now you've told us a lot about your love for travel. You love to move through the eat, pray, love style of work which you're doing right now. Uh, what is that one unique fact about you that we don't know yet?
Ah, fantastic. Uh, what's one unique fact about me? I guess my longest romantic relationship to date is with Manchester United. But recently, unfortunately, they have been breaking my heart, right? So there you go.
I thank you for sharing that. There is a very interesting Amazon Prime uh, TV docu series on Manu. Have you had a chance to watch it?
No, I've thought I will do that. Yeah.
It's a really nice one. I definitely do suggest it. But wow, okay, so why Manu?
Well, as a young lad growing up in the early 90s, I grew up playing football as well, and so I'm a right-hander, but I'm a left-footer, right? So that's kind of weird, right? So I play football with my dominant foot is my left foot, and I wanted to emulate someone. I wanted to have an idol there, right? If you're a Man United fan, then you would have guessed who that player is, Ryan Giggs, right? So
Correct.
I look up to him, and he was just he was really just a young player then, and ever since I just followed, fell in love with Manchester United, right? And you know what they say about true love, right? Even though that you're expressing a dry patch, but you stick by your true love.
Of course, it's unconditional. And the TV show that I was talking about, or the docuseries I was talking about, is For the Glory, Manchester United for the Glory.
I'm gonna
Uh,
check it out.
please do, and let me know. What do you think of it? Um, last question to you. What has been the proudest moment in your life?
Ah, yeah, that's a difficult one, is it? Uh, I'm gonna say that making a decision to leave a full time, might I say, well paying job to travel during the pandemic, right, and to choose career, money over self love and mental health. I think that's one of the proudest moments that I've done. So this is the first time that I've taken a break that is longer than 2 weeks ever
Wow.
since I started my first job. And I think to do that during the pandemic, I'm really proud of myself for doing that.
No, and congratulations. I do believe it's important to take time to reflect. It's important to take time to take stock of what it is that drives you, the passion that gets you out of bed every morning, the ikigai. My first question always to all my guests, and I'm grateful that you're doing that. There is so much we will be exploring with you as we go into Reshape in a few months.
Cool.
I can't wait to hear more from you at the event.
Fantastic.
No, thank you so much, Henry. It was great having you at BTT.
It's my pleasure.
Cheers. Hey guys, for all of you who are watching us right now, join us every Thursdays. It's 4 p.m. Singapore time, 10 a.m. CET. Now, stay safe, stay healthy, but do catch us at reshapesummit.com. You will be watching a number of our amazing thought leaders like Henry right now, and I hope you will catch his session too.